God bless football. Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey.
God bless football, Fuentes.
God bless football, Stugotz.
Billy and Mikey are miserable. Me and Mikey A, we're happy. I'm still glowing after Aaron Rodgers' Thursday night performance. Billy is upset at Dolphin fans. He's upset at the Dolphins. He's upset at everyone. Fuentes strolled in this morning. He said, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I think he's right. I think that's representative of all of us. We don't know anything. Here are the undefeated quarterbacks in the NFL. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Dalton. How about that, Billy?
I don't know what this league is this year. I don't know what's going on. None of the kickers. This is a great year for kickers. Unless you're a good kicker, then it's a terrible year for kickers.
Or the Eagles kicker, right?
Are the Eagles good?
I have no idea. It's one of my if the season ended today questions.
Is it?
Would Nick Sirianni still be the Eagles head coach? It's odd saying that coming off a victory. It's odd saying that when that team could be 3-0, but he's not a good coach. They ain't 2-1 because of Nick Sirianni.
They were lucky that they won that game. That was an ugly game, and obviously their defense, seemed to find the solution to the great mystery of how do we stop the New Orleans Saints all of a sudden, which were like this offensive juggernaut. And it's like, wow, they can't be stopped. Well, the Eagles can stop them. And if it wasn't for Dallas Goedert touchdown of or not touchdown, the big 61-yard completion that set them up for a touchdown.
Right.
Nick Sirianni may be on the hot seat. And by the way, that play only ended up happening because the Saints ran into each other.
I think Nick Sirianni is the rare head coach who was 2-1 and still on the hot seat. Like, Eagles fans are not happy with Nick Sirianni.
They don't like him.
They don't?
That was fast.
So ask yourself this question. If Nick Sirianni became a free agent today, would an NFL team hire him? This is a guy who has taken the Eagles to the playoffs 3 consecutive years. I believe the only Eagles coach in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles to do so. And he's a guy who led this team to within a play of winning the Super Bowl against Kansas City. And yet I'm not certain the Eagles fans want him to be their head coach.
I think Nick Sirianni has coordinator face. I think Nick Sirianni is a guy you want on your coaching staff, but you don't want him making any kind of big decisions. You want him as your offensive coordinator. You do not want him as your head coach.
I think part of it, too, is like you thought Jalen Hurts was going to take another step that he hasn't really taken since the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Right? I mean, he had 311 yards, fine. He had, a rushing touchdown. It was his 7th straight game with an interception, which is not ideal. He fumbled the ball yesterday. It's okay. His numbers are okay. He's just not the guy that I think that everybody thought he was going to become after the Super Bowl.
So they beat Green Bay. They beat Green Bay with Jordan Love, okay? They should have beaten Atlanta, and they beat the Saints, who were the hottest team in the NFL, and they beat them in New Orleans. And the fact that we're having this conversation speaks to how awful Nick Sirianni is in game.
They're a drive away from being 3-0.
I know. Wait, a catch away. Saquon Barkley, a catch away.
But did they look good yesterday? They should have lost.
They looked good enough.
No one looks good. No one looks good.
I mean,
no one looks good.
Saquon looks good.
Time out.
Saquon looks good.
The Vikings look good.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors looks good.
Neighbors is good. Yeah.
Good day to be Malik yesterday.
Good day to be Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors is saving people's jobs.
He really saved my fantasy.
Right.
Malik Willis also looked good yesterday. Good enough. Revenge game.
Dolphins couldn't find Malik Willis? Couldn't find Malik? Okay.
Don't get me started on the Dolphins.
No.
Listen to me. Let me tell you something. I would like to
Mm-hmm.
vow to the audience and to you guys right now, and it's really for the betterment of my own sanity and for the show just surviving. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about the Dolphins today.
Well, we have to.
We don't. After that game, we don't have to talk about it.
If you don't have
to talk about the Dolphins.
If you don't have a newfound appreciation for just how good Tua is at quarterback, I'm sorry.
I was texting people yesterday, like, you missed Tua yet? Like, all of the Dolphins fans that hated it, like, you miss him? You miss Tua yet? Tua's so bad, you can't pay Tua. Look what happens when he's not on this team.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill. Are you on the team still? Where's Tyreek Hill?
This fraud out there, Taylor Vipolis, the other day, you can't give Tua top 10 money. Yeah, well, what's the alternative? Because we saw it yesterday.
Right.
Tim Boyle. Okay, Tim Boyle college and professional career, 5 touchdowns combined.
We all found out together that Tim Boyle was a Dolphin, right?
Yes.
I had no
It's
idea.
not, it's not so funny when he's on your team. I'm just saying. It's not so funny when he's throwing you 99-yard interceptions. It's funny.
Well, you know what's
when he's
funny?
on your team.
You know,
not so funny.
You know what's funny about Tim Boyle?
What?
Had one of the only competent drives the Dolphins had all game yesterday.
Listen,
I thought you were
Somehow.
going to say his game.
No, well, that's
Until he needed to throw.
listen.
no. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, it's third and goal. Third and goal. You have 2 of the top 5 highest paid receivers in the league on your team. You run a pattern for Durham Smythe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No one's expecting it.
Yeah. The element of surprise.
Yeah, got him.
Listen. We don't need to go down this path today.
Right?
McDaniel,
Yeah. Eh,
genius.
I don't know. Right.
I have a new game.
boy.
I have a new game I want to play later.
Because it doesn't matter who Mike Tomlin's quarterback is. That team wins. McDaniel, it matters.
Mike
I mean,
Tomlin-
he needs Tua. So
I don't understand the Steelers.
I have no idea if they're good.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? I don't think they are.
I don't know.
Don't let the record fool you. I don't think they are. And
Right.
also, they have such a leg up on. I think Mike Tomlin, and this is unfair. I think Mike Tomlin at this point is coaching just to never have a losing record during a season, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Like
Yes.
I that's unfair. He probably is trying to make the playoffs. He's not trying to win the Super Bowl. Like the Steelers are not trying to win the Super Bowl.
He
this
has
year.
one, so I think you're right. He's probably like if he wins a second, he'd be thrilled about it. But
think-
he has the one, and he's never had a losing season.
I think
That's
at
it,
this
right.
point we're happy with just that, and we've got such a leg up on that goal for this year.
Oh my God,
Russell
he's-
Wilson is not starting.
He's
once
6
healthy.
wins away. I
Russell
mean,
Wilson's not getting that starting job.
ever.
Well, maybe at some point. By the way, and obviously I'm panicked now when you hear this. Dolphins, Russell Wilson's out there? Andy Dalton was out there?
Is he though?
Yeah, go get Russell Wilson.
No, Russell's out there.
Go get
Yeah.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's out there.
I got a feeling that
He
Andy
is.
Dalton at the beginning of the season and Russell Wilson were a 4th round draft pick away.
Of course,
Yeah.
they are now.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tannehill's out there.
Yep.
I don't know what he's going to do.
he's out there though.
He's out there.
Yeah,
Just not Skyler Thompson.
right.
Just not Tim Boyle. I don't understand what the Dolphins are doing at the
Right.
quarterback position.
Don't worry, they don't either. So
Well, but okay,
Well, they do. It's Tua.
yeah.
But 2 years ago, we learned Skyler Thompson just wasn't good enough, and he almost won that playoff game in Buffalo. Almost, but you learned he wasn't enough, right? So then last year they addressed that issue and they said, you know what? We'll bring in Mike White. He'll be Tua's backup should something happen. Tua had an entire healthy season. They didn't need him. Then they let him go. And the solution is, again, Skyler Thompson. Like, well, he won the job over Mike White. It's like, well, there shouldn't have been a position where it was Mike White against Skyler Thompson. Should something happen to Tua, you can't plan for him on being healthy. And obviously, this is a Monday morning quarterback situation because he was healthy all last year. But there was no plan if Tua went down.
Nope.
No, the plan
How
was,
did you guys copy the 2023 Jets almost exactly when it came to the quarterback position? You let go of Mike White,
Yep.
you brought in Tim Boyle, and you put all your eggs in a basket with a guy that you probably aren't sure is going to stay healthy with only some college quarterback to back him up, and Tim Boyle. Why would you watch the 2023 Jets and think, that's what we need. That's what we need to do.
Tim Boyle was like the guy you bring in because
Listen.
you want to know the Jets playbook. Like he was never meant to play.
Listen.
The Jets playbook.
Jets don't have them. Yeah, that's what you're worried about.
Jets
No,
playbook, then you're not.
Nathaniel Hackett's playbook is what you're
According to
worried
Herbie, Nathaniel Hackett's a
Here's
genius.
the playbook:
So we gotta-
run again, incomplete pass, punt.
Listen.
That's the playbook.
Listen,
okay?
guys, there was great football yesterday. It did not happen in Seattle. We've spent way too much time talking about the Dolphins. No one cares about the Dolphins, and we can maybe get back to them later on a game that I like to call Based on Nothing.
Oh, what really?
Yeah. Or do you just want to play
Based
Based on
on
Nothing
Nothing.
right
That
now?
sounds like a good
Really?
game.
So wait, we're gonna make
That sounds like a
opinions
good
based
game.
on nothing?
I'll give you an example.
Oh my God, this is exciting!
All right, this
What?
is-
Isn't that called God Bless Football?
It's called me.
This is the first edition. We'll play it right now because it's quick. I only have one Based on Nothing.
Playing
today.
it now.
Yeah.
Not later.
It's called Based on Nothing, right? Based on Nothing, Skyler Thompson would kill it as a 7th-year senior in college this year at Oklahoma State.
Right.
I feel like he'd have them like in the top 10. He'd be like on Heisman watch. He wouldn't win. He'd finish 3rd maybe based on nothing. If Skyler Thompson
Sure.
was still in college today,
Right.
because I think he's like 27 or something, right?
Yep.
He's young enough. He could have benefited from like an extra COVID year and then a red shirt and then a porter or a portal. And then you have like a transfer situation. And he could have been one of these guys that it's like 7th year senior and he's lighting it up and you convince yourself, oh man, we need to draft this guy. Mm-hmm. And then he makes it to the NFL and he can't cut it.
Right.
Yeah. Based on nothing.
Kansas State. I see Kansas State.
That's where he went.
Kansas State.
I think that's where he went.
He went to Kansas State?
Yeah. No way.
So you're saying he should have stayed at Kansas State?
I think that's
He should have stayed at Kansas. He should have transferred back to Kansas State.
I just want to be clear.
He went to Kansas State.
I want to be clear on what Billy is saying based on nothing.
Based on nothing.
Okay? He is saying that Skyler Thompson,
nothing.
had he stayed,
No.
or should go back to college because he would be 2nd or 3rd place in the Heisman voting
Listen,
right now.
based on nothing, Skyler's the guy with NIL money that would have made a nice living
Right.
just staying in college forever.
Yeah. I like the game.
And he'd be dominating 18-year-olds that he's playing against.
Based on nothing.
Based on nothing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I have some if the season ended today. You want those?
Wow.
Or are we all supposed to play this game?
We also have Lucy coming up. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Well,
yet.
yes, because we do not bury college football here on God Bless Football. We will talk to Lucy about the college weekend and a big college weekend coming up. You have the game of the year, Alabama and Georgia coming up, plus Penn State, Illinois, Louisville, and Notre Dame. But if the season ended today, guys, would Kevin O'Connell be the coach of the year? Now, last week it was Dennis Allen, but that was last week, and this is this week. The season ended last week. Now it's ending today. So if it ended today, would Kevin O'Connell be your coach of the year?
Does that include what happened the first 2 weeks, or this is just a 1-week season?
Just if the season ended today. No, it's a 3-week season now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Body of work.
And next
Yeah.
week will be a 4-week season. And then the one after that's
Well, you just give the Vikings all the awards?
I mean, why not?
Sam Darnold wins MVP. No
Yeah.
question about it.
No question.
Yes.
And most improved player.
And most improved. Right. MIP and MVP. How about that? I don't think anyone's ever done that.
Was he injured last year? Or you give him comeback player of the year?
Oh,
But he
no.
come back from just being
Just
Sam
being
Darnold?
Sam Darnold,
yeah.
The Jets. He came back from the Jets.
And the
Mikey,
Panthers.
it's funny because Billy and Mike Fuentes are miserable because they have Skyler Thompson, and you and I would be miserable because Sam Darnold and Geno Smith are a combined 6-0. But we're not because we have Aaron Rodgers.
Can I say something? I don't think I'm miserable because of that, right? I don't think I'm miserable because of that and this is very premature, obviously, but I'm kind of like, yeah, the season's over. Like, I don't need to pay attention the rest of the way. And we're only one
Really?
week into this injury.
It
You have
sucks.
the Titans. Oh, but now looking at the schedule, a favorable little bounce back here.
Who's next?
Titans, Patriots, Colts.
Oh, wow. You went 2 of 3 right there. Even with Skyler Thompson.
2 of 3 or 500, but then you play Arizona. I don't know. Do we know about Arizona?
No. I don't think we'll ever
They
know.
have shades of like,
Right.
this is a good team. And then
Right.
like, oh, maybe not.
I'm not certain we'll ever know about Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Then we have the Bills. You know how that Bills game is going to go. Always goes the same against the Bills.
Oh, my God.
Rams, are the Rams good?
I don't know.
Yeah, same.
No.
Listen, Carolina has the same record as San Francisco.
Man, San Francisco has bad luck.
We know nothing.
They're so injured. They shouldn't have lost that game yesterday, but they're so injured.
I know. Carolina's back. Listen, I'm going to say it right now before Lucy joins us to recap the college football weekend and preview a big college football weekend. The Panthers are winning that division.
God Bless Football is presented by Smirnoff.
Yes.
We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York.
Lucy is joining us. We do not bury college football here on God Bless Football. It was a big college football weekend and a bigger weekend coming up. Lucy, how was your experience? I saw that you were in Norman, Oklahoma. I just always assumed Norman, Oklahoma was a place that wasn't fun. How was your experience there?
It's no Madison.
Right.
It's tough to follow Madison with another college town.
Right.
I wasn't like crazy in love with Norman. However, great game day atmosphere. Like I was a little like I got to Norman, I was like, I'm not entirely in love with this. Their campus corner, their little like downtown-y area is really great. Their campus is gorgeous, but their game day atmosphere is really, really cool. They have like a bunch of, it's very SEC-like in the sense that they're shooting off guns all the time during the game.
Yeah.
The crowd is really into it. I enjoyed my experience. We did get like the pure Oklahoma, and we were stranded there for a couple hours on Sunday because the weather was so miserable we couldn't leave.
Billy, you made a face when she said they're shooting guns off.
Yeah, just performative.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Look, I'm a little slow today. I'm going to be honest with you.
You're upset about Tua.
I'm dragging a little bit.
Right.
My school, FIU, I was calling that game, had a horrific loss this week.
Yeah, I
so-
saw
Don't
that.
get me started on that. Don't get me started on that.
Congrats to Monmouth, but
Right.
oh boy.
Wow.
Fuentes, why would I want to get you started on
Yeah.
that?
Because, I mean, we should have known the Dolphins were headed down after that game. That was just, wow.
Right.
What is the connection there?
One disaster after another.
I just like that the FIU Monmouth game made its way into Lucy's like college football radar. To like the sickos
I heard
like
about it a
retweeted or
lot.
something.
Well,
It was a
why?
crazy play.
How?
Well, because
I stay up after I get back from the late game to watch like the little recappy show, and
Sure.
they had it on there.
Right.
And then I listen to Shutdown Fullcast every Sunday, and they had it on there.
it was somewhat of a big college story just because of the crazy way that the game
Because it was so
ended.
insane.
Yeah, so like Monmouth has never beat, an FBS school before.
Right.
And this is FIU's homecoming game, which I learned in doing the prep because I called the game. FIU hasn't won a homecoming game since 2019, which
At
is
the
very
Pit,
sad.
right?
Yeah,
At the Pit?
Pitbull
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a back and forth game. Monmouth, listen, I'm not one to do this. And actually, I don't think he's eligible, but their quarterback, Heisman watch. He's had 2 back-to-back weeks.
Really?
Great. He had like 390 yards 2 weeks ago. He was
Yeah.
a transfer out of Maine. His brother is actually the quarterback's coach, so
Right.
a little bit of nepotism.
Would you
there.
be happier if he was the Dolphins' backup?
Anyways, long story short, so FIU was favored by like 10.5 points or something because it's an FCS school.
Yeah.
And it was a back and forth game the entire game. They couldn't stop the quarterback.
Huh.
And then they're driving down. They're down by 3. They're driving down the field with 30 seconds left. They have a pass. And the receiver is like, shaking in and out, goes to make a turn to go into the end zone. He's fighting for every yard. There's 30 seconds left in the game.
Right.
On the 1 yard line, fumbles the ball.
Ooh.
Monmouth gets the ball. They run out the clock. Game over. It was crazy. I'm watching the replay, hoping like, God, just please have crossed the goal line and have this not be a thing.
Right.
Did not cross the goal line. Incredible play by Monmouth.
Your wishes did not come true.
They did not come true. I mean, I was happy for them. They were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl, running out on the field. It was the biggest win in like
Yes.
program history, but yeah.
Not the place I thought we'd start this morning with Lucy.
It was a big play. It was a big play in college.
No, okay, if you
It
say
was.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Oh, hey, whoa! I take it back. Apologies, Lucy. Were you impressed with Tennessee, who got a big road win at Oklahoma? They're certainly a team that's going to be in the playoffs. I think, right?
Yeah, they kind of feel like the most luck right now outside of, the Texas, Georgia, Ohio States of the world. Incredibly impressed with their defense. I think a lot of what we saw from Oklahoma was their offense just being completely and totally anemic. That was one game where I was just sitting there and it just felt wrong. Everything felt wrong. What do you mean that Oklahoma forced 2 fumbles and then the next play immediately fumbled them both back? What do you mean?
Right.
That happened twice. That happened 2 times. Absolutely crazy. We're like going into halftime, I felt like Oklahoma could have been tied, could have been really, really close to Tennessee. But Tennessee is just a much better team, and they are a really, really good team. And I'm not a type of person that gets I'm not motivated by inspirational speeches or anything like that. But when I saw Josh Heupel's post-game locker room talk to the team, I was like, oh yeah, Tennessee's winning the national championship.
Yeah, it was
I'm in.
emotional. Yes, yeah, they love
Rocky
that guy.
Top feels
Yes.
like 98. Let's go.
Sometimes a good speech could convince you that team is going to win a national championship. Seriously,
did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did. The way he spoke, I was like, damn, I'd want to play for him. I get it.
It was
I'm
like
in.
Dan Lanning last year at Oregon after they beat Colorado, or before the Colorado game. They're going for clicks. We're going for wins. I thought Oregon was going to win it all. They almost did, but I thought they were going to win it all.
No, it completely changes everything. And that game was super cool just for Josh Heupel to be sort of a homecoming.
Yes.
The schedule makers knew what they were doing in making or Oklahoma's first SEC game against Tennessee. But the atmosphere was really special. The game was really good. I think that this isn't the Tennessee teams of past. Their defense is phenomenal. They've got a great run game. They are just a well-rounded, really, really good football team. And they play Alabama in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's kind of we're going to get the real litmus test of how good Tennessee is. They also play Georgia, but outside of that, there's not a ton left on their schedule.
All
So
right,
they feel like a lock for the playoff.
You mentioned Alabama. I want to start right there with Lucy or Goosey. Lucy or Goosey, the outcome of Alabama-Georgia this weekend doesn't really matter because both teams are making it to the playoff.
That's a good question. I think I'm going to go Lucy on that. I think you're right. It does matter. It's a big game, and
Of
it'll
course,
matter for
yes,
seeding.
yes.
Because the thing with the playoff is, a lot of teams are getting in now, but a few teams are going to be able to play at home, and a few teams are going to be able to skip the first round entirely. But yeah, I do think that with 12 teams, you're probably going to have 4 teams from the SEC right now, and those look like Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. So yeah, no, it'll just be funsies.
Yeah, it will just be funsies, right?
I like that.
Well, do you?
I do like funsies.
That was my problem originally with the 12-team playoff, where the regular season games, which used to mean everything, don't mean as much as they used to.
See, I disagree with that still because, like, I don't think that Alabama and Georgia, they're not gonna have Kirby Smart and Kalen DeBoer in the locker room being like, by the way, guys, whatever happens, we're still good for the playoff. Like, I think they're all gonna want to win still.
Right.
And like, even let's just say Tennessee had lost to Oklahoma, that game still would have meant a lot, even though Tennessee feels like a lot for the playoff, which is kind of crazy to say at week 4. We don't know what happens. But like, these games are still going to matter. Like, Alabama fans are still going to call into Feinbaum on Tuesday if they lose and be like, burn the whole place down, you know?
Yeah, that's
like
more
that.
a product of them having nothing else to do with their lives. But anyway, go ahead, Bill.
Bad parenting. You know what I mean? Bad parenting by Kirby Smart. It takes me back to like the days of like, you look back like at high school or whatever, you're like, oh my gosh, I was so stressed out over this math test. I was so stressed out over the chemistry test, whatever. Big picture, didn't really matter.
Right.
Why was I so stressed out? Why do I have a lifetime worth of anxiety stressing over these tests that didn't really matter? Now that's what this college football season is, right?
Yeah.
These games, they don't really matter that much. Don't stress them. You're going to make the playoffs. You're Georgia, you're Alabama. You're going to make it to the playoffs regardless. Doesn't matter. Don't stress this too much. Kirby, go be that supportive shoulder that your team can lean on and say, you know what, pal? It's okay. We're going to get them at the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't like
We'll
this.
get them in
Yeah.
December.
Yeah.
Don't stress this too much.
Right. Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah.
Be that supportive parent that doesn't raise the, anxious kids. Not that my
We
parents.
win or lose with a
It
smile.
sounds like I'm
Right.
taking
Yeah.
shots at my
Yeah.
parents. Not the case. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. I'm
Seems
just
like
saying.
you are. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Gills. Yeah.
What?
Mr. and Mrs. Gill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great parents.
This is very Mac Brown of you right now.
Yeah, but Mac Brown would be a great coach for this current system, would he not? You just tell your guy, you know what?
He just tried to quit.
Not a huge
I'm just
deal.
I just don't want to come back.
Yeah.
I'm just not coming back.
Yeah.
Wait, don't tell anybody I said that. I'm coming back. I changed my mind.
Why would the players want him back? I mean, after giving up 70 to James Madison.
Just embarrassing on all fronts. I'm still
Mac.
like confused how that happened.
Yeah.
So like my understanding of the situation, UNC got whomped, which they were going to get whomped. I kind of and like I think it's important to note that we know that James Madison is a really good school and has been a really good football team
Yes.
for quite some time now. But I think it's also this is not that James Madison. That James Madison entirely transferred to Indiana. The coach is gone. Most of their players are gone. They're all in Bloomington now. So this is a new crop of James Madison. And they worked UNC to the point where Mac Brown was like, I'm not coming back. This was so bad, I'm not coming back. And then I think UNC was like, no, you don't get to just do that.
No.
You got to go back.
Yeah. You got a contract, Mac. Honor it. We'll tell you when your time is run out here at North Carolina.
Which is crazy because, like, if I were UNC, I'd be like, yeah.
You probably have to be concerned moving forward this season. Like, I don't know. Why would you want him there if he doesn't want to be there?
Well, that's what Lucy's saying.
Exactly.
She's saying if I'm UNC, I take the opportunity
That's
that Mac Brown
crazy.
is put in front of him. Okay, see you later, coach.
Bye. Just
So good. All right, Lucy
thanks
or
for the memories.
Lucy or Goosey, Kyle Whittingham is the most underrated coach in the country.
Most underrated. I don't know if I'm going to go full most underrated because I feel like there are always going to be coaches that are really underrated in college football that we don't talk about enough.
Okay.
Kyle Whittingham is Goosey, but Kyle Whittingham is a staple.
Yes.
The reason that Kyle Whittingham doesn't get the attention that I would say most coaches necessarily do is because I think his name is never going to be in the coaching hire cycle. He's not leaving Utah.
Correct.
He's been there for 16, 17 years.
Yep.
Like he shows up, he does his job, he does it well. And I think it's super impressive with a school like Utah where you're not necessarily in a recruiting hotspot. It's not a place that people really, really want to go to school. It's not, I don't know if it's a super rich alumni base or anything like that. But to go into Oklahoma State, a really tough place to play against a really good Oklahoma State team
Yes.
with your Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to take part of that back.
Right.
Because
no starting quarterback.
you miss your starting quarterback all the
Yes,
time, though.
right.
He's never there.
I know.
He's
And
never there.
and
So
he
you're
still
used
wins.
to not having them there.
Correct.
You're just adjusted to that, so it's less special when Kyle Whittingham does it. Because like you just live life without a starting quarterback.
Yes.
Utah is always a staple. It doesn't matter who's on their team. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They're always going to be good. They're always going to give you a tough fight. And I think that the Big 12, like right now, is really poised for Utah to win because Oklahoma State lost, Kansas State lost to BYU this weekend. Iowa State kind of looks like a competitor right now, but like the whole Big 12 is weird and wonky, and I think they're like the new reformed Pac-12. They're all just going to beat the crap out of each other.
Yes.
But it feels like Utah will rise above.
So just to be clear, you started off as Goosey and now you're Lucy.
No, I
Okay.
never went to
Okay.
Lucy.
I thought I turned you at the end.
No, because I was like, wow, it's so impressive that he went in there without a starting quarterback. And then I went, Lucy, he's gone into every game in the last 6 years
You're
without a
right.
starting
Yes.
quarterback.
It's more
He's
shocking
just
when he
used
has
to
a
it.
starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's weirder when you win with Cam Rising at this point. You're like, what are you doing here?
So he's been the head coach since 2005, but prior to that, he joined Utah in 1994 as defensive line coach. So he's been there 30 years.
He's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
He's just, It would be great though, and like at 64. I think it's safe to say 64 too late for a midlife crisis, right?
Yeah.
Unless you live to be obviously 128, which
He's a
maybe he
young
will.
64 though, Billy.
It would be
Yes.
it
He
would be
is.
great
He
for
is,
him
yes.
to have though like a 64-year-old midlife crisis where he's like, you know what? I'm out of here. And then he goes to like some other big team.
What? No, he's got to do the Urban Meyer and leave Utah for Florida.
Ooh.
I like that. A late life crisis.
Why can't he live to be 120?
You're right. I take that back. I'm sorry.
He looks great.
Yeah.
He does. I said a young 64.
He
All
looks
right.
good.
Lucy, on the other side of that, Lucy or Goosey, is Lincoln Riley the most overrated coach in the country?
He's one of them.
Yes.
For sure. I
Agreed.
think we've been saying that for a while. If there's any takeaway we can have from this weekend, it's nobody knows if USC or LSU are any good. We don't know what's going on with those two teams,
Totally
and they're not
fair.
helping each other at all.
Yes.
To lose at Michigan, that's a tough place to play. That's a very good defense. I believe I said it last week. Michigan will never pass the ball again, and I was right. So if I knew what Michigan was going to do, you should have known what Michigan was going to do, and you still lost knowing that they were completely one-dimensional against you. Michigan's defense looked really, really good. Miller Moss was out there fighting for his life. His offensive line did not do him any favors, but like Lincoln Riley feels very one-dimensional in the sense that, like, hell yeah, he can develop a passing game. Hell yeah, he can develop a quarterback. What else can you do, brother? What else?
It's a fair question. Lucy or Goosey, Deion Sanders has given a master class in making us all care about a team that we have no idea whether or not they're good.
Lucy, but with the caveat of we know they're not good.
Okay, good.
We know they're not good.
But he is
What
given a
is that?
master
Exactly.
class.
Yes, thank you, Lucy.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
he's made us all care about a team that's bad.
It's amazing,
That Baylor
yes.
game was bad crazy. And I just want to give a shout out to Dave Aranda, who came out after the game and said the Hail Mary that they gave up, the name of that play was Victory Cigar. Maybe you didn't need to say that, Dave.
no.
Maybe you could have lied.
Right.
Maybe you should have just kept that one to yourself. Crazy shit. I don't know what's going on with Baylor. They've been off the last few years. He's probably on the hot seat. But yeah, like Colorado has 3 good players, and that's like the extent of their team.
I know.
But
they're
they're
fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
They're talked about,
Yeah.
and they have wild, crazy games. So yeah, we do care about a team that is bad. They are bad.
Yeah.
I have a Lucy or Goosey. Lucy or Goosey. Arch Manning gave himself a C+ after their 51-3 win over ULM. He had 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions.
Ooh.
Oh, I did not get to watch this game because they put it on behind a paywall.
Well, what's your Lucy or Goosey? Does he deserve a better grade? Is that
Yeah,
what
well,
you're
it
saying?
seems like we
Okay.
just move on, though.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Lucy.
I'll give him no Lucy. I love the self-awareness of Arch. All-time quarterback matchup in this one: Arch Manning versus General Booty.
Oh, wow. General Booty. Lucy or Goosey?
I understand the paywall now.
Yeah.
Lucy or Goosey, if Clemson runs the table, they'll make the playoff.
Lucy, including the ACC championship, because then they're literally allowed.
Right.
They have
Well, then they
They
get in.
can't stop them.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
do it
there's
this
no-
way.
there's no-
Run the table,
there's no
lose
way
the
to
ACC
avoid it.
championship game. Funny.
If they lose the ACC championship game, they're probably out.
Right.
It's going to really depend, maybe less on what Clemson does. They can't afford another loss, I believe.
Right.
But the Big 12 is in like the weird stage where everybody's beating each other. So I think they're going to auto-eliminate and just have the one team in there. And so it'll probably come down to Charlotte again, the ACC championship game against Miami. It'll just really depend on, honestly, I think what happens with the Big 10. If the Big 10 has 4 decent-looking teams, I think they could get in over Clemson. My whole thing is I don't want to take last week out of context. Beating the out of NC State is impressive. NC State is really bad.
Yeah.
They are not good. You saw that week 1 when they almost lost to Western Carolina. They got stomped by Tennessee. They struggled against Louisiana Lafayette. Like they are not a good team. So like beating NC State by that is not as impressive as it seems, but it looks like Clemson's headed on the right path. I don't necessarily know if they have a super tough game on their schedule because it's the ACC. So like I think it's circumstantial, but if they win the ACC championship game, they have to be.
Billy, I have an idea. I think you'll like this. I want the committee to allow like a super wild card team in, like a wacky wild card team in.
Isn't that the group of 5?
Well, no, I want that team to be. I think Colorado should get in. I just want to see what Shadur Sanders and Hunter can do against one of these teams.
Why?
It'd be fun.
You saw what they could do against Baylor. What do you think they could do against one of the good teams?
It'd just be fun to see it. I don't know.
It'd be fun when they're getting blown out by 30.
I mean, listen, you would not want to face those 2 kids in a playoff game.
Oh, no, I would love to. I would love to destroy them.
I would be
Really?
super happy if that was my draw.
Yeah, if my team was against Colorado in the playoff, on to the next round.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be thrilled about that.
All right.
Lucy, earlier today in this episode, I played a game called Based on Nothing, and I would like your opinion on my initial Based on Nothing. My Based on Nothing was Dolphins backup quarterback / should not be an NFL quarterback, Skyler Thompson, would kill it as a 7th-year senior if he was in college at Oklahoma State.
Oh, yeah. Did you guys see like the starting age of both of those quarterbacks? Well, like not Cam Rising because he didn't play. Oklahoma's quarterback is like 24. He's 25.
Yeah.
He's like my age.
Yeah. Saw that. There was a goodbye.
yeah.
Was that supposed to be like they're old? He's my age?
Yeah, was that like the big reveal there? Old 25?
I'm actually 26. I forgot how old I was. That happens a lot. I never remember how old I am.
Really?
I get nervous when I hand my ID to the bouncer.
That is so great. I'm trying to look up the stat because there were 2 quarterbacks who played. Their combined age was higher than the combined age of like 3 starting quarterback combinations in the NFL this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. They were so old. Because Cam Rising, I think, is 26. I think he's legit my age. And then Oklahoma State's quarterback was like 24, 25, which is almost my age.
Do you think that the bouncer's going to think that it's a fake ID? That used to happen to me. And still, like when I go through airport security, I don't know why I like tense up and I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm just going through security. I don't know why I'm afraid something's going to happen to me here.
Like this was 2 years ago, so not that long ago. I went through airport security, and the lady asked if my mom was there, and I said, "Nope, I'm 24. I can rent a car with a fee, but my mom does not need to walk me through the airport. I'm old enough." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You'll be grateful for that later." I said, "I don't know. I'm pretty mortified right now."
The combined age of the Oklahoma State-Utah quarterbacks, Lucy, was 49. The combined age of the starting quarterbacks in Bears-Colts was 43. That's ridiculous.
Can't get experience like that elsewhere.
What are we doing? Lucy,
God bless the NIL.
Yes. Lucy or Goosey, quickly, Notre Dame will lose to Louisville this weekend.
I'm going to go Goosey because I'm not quite sure how Louisville is. And you have to say it like that. Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
Oh.
Lucy or Goosey, Penn State will lose to Illinois this weekend.
Goosey. It'll be a close game. When they play each other, it's always really weird. They had like that 8 overtime game a couple years ago.
Yes.
Illinois beating Nebraska was, yes, impressive to Burt Bielema and Illinois. It was also just Nebraska doing a masterclass at what Nebraska does. The craziest stat I heard is Nebraska has been in like 8 overtime games in the last like 10 years or something, and they have not scored in any of them, and they have not gotten a first down in any of them.
Lucy or Goosey, Georgia, just for a week, should sign Nick Saban as a consultant.
Goosey, because Nick Saban's already going to all these practices, and he's already a consultant for Alabama. So I think he would double
dip.
I
like that.
Yeah.
I like
DeBoer's got to be careful, though. You know, Saban's probably telling him stuff to help him lose the game, not win the game. I mean, I'm telling you, Saban's rooting against Alabama. He's a double agent.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
He would not root against Alabama.
I'm not so certain, Lucy. Yeah. Hey, listen, Lucy, you leave a job. You're the all-time, greatest coach in the history of college football. You don't want the guy who comes in right after you to go win a national championship.
Do you think Mac Brown thought he was Nick Saban when he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ride off into the sunset.
Absolutely.
Like, no, Mac, you're not still at Texas. We don't think of you the same way anymore.
We did for a moment with Carolina. I feel like
No.
No. We did for a moment 20 years ago.
Okay. Lucy, you're headed to Georgia, Alabama. We don't know yet.
We certainly hope so. If anybody who's listening can help us get to the game who works for Alabama, I do a really good job. I'm really nice. Everybody really likes me. I clean up after myself.
Right.
There's really no reason not to have me there.
I agree.
Please.
Yep. Game of the weekend, of course.
Lucy, I'm telling you, keep an eye on this Derek Robertson from Monmouth. 390 yards, 355 yards, 390 yards, 361 yards.
That's more than
good.
Michigan had the whole game.
This guy's good.
Lucy, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to reach out to Todd Gurley and Nick Chubb. They are both friends of mine, and we'll see if I can get you into this game, okay?
Don't book your tickets. That's a lie. It's not going to happen.
I'll see what I can do. All right, Luce?
Sure.
Or at least someone's trying around here. Yeah.
I'm desperate at this point. I am. I'll be the mascot for the game. I don't care. Whatever.
Could you imagine
whatever we have to do.
if you were Big Al or whatever his name is, you go out there? Well, I guess
I believe I would have been a really good mascot.
Do you?
Like, I feel like it was a
Really?
missed opportunity for me.
Would
I
you?
really think that I could do it.
What kind of mascot do you think you could be? Like one of the human kind of mascots or one that's inside a costume?
I'm a human kind of mascots are against my religion. I think those are really wrong and they go against nature, and I don't think they should be allowed.
Right.
But I could be in a costume for sure.
Okay.
What religion is
I feel
this?
like it's the one of what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
The religion of right and wrong? Okay.
And human mascots, wrong. Not right.
We will talk to you next weekend, Lizzie. I'll let you know if I hear back from Gurley.
Please. Sorry, Nebraska.
Stugotz.
Yeah.
Mike, we have a lot to get to still, but we don't have a lot of time left. We have winners and losers for this week. I have my BBBBBB picks for Monday Night Football. And this Monday night, tonight, we have a treat. 2 Monday Night Football games. So lots of games to choose from today. Well,
Yeah.
Is that 6 bets, or is that like you're going to spread the 3 out over the 2 games?
You know what? Had we discussed this before, I would have given you 6, but I only did 3 and I spread it out across the 2. But
Interesting.
Okay.
yeah, the 6 would have been good because it really could have given me like a nice like little cushion, or it could have buried me. But I was sticking to my 3.
Right.
I'm going to stick to my 3, just spreading it across the 2 games in case anyone was interested. We now have a reason to watch the 2 games. Not that you're watching Monday Night Football based on my bets. That would be kind of crazy. But if you are, hey, thanks, I guess. Also, Stugotz, quick update here on our listener league that we do, which, by the way, is presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. So we have our daily fantasy weekly listener league presented by Smirnoff. I know that that's kind of a mouthful, daily fantasy weekly league, but it's Sundays. It's the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games. Last week, big week for me. I finished in 5th place. Mm-hmm. Can basically put my kids through college because I won $120, which was incredible.
Right.
This week, I was riding high. I said, you know what? I am a fantasy genius. I'm going to do this again. I may quit my job and just do this, which I do not advise. Don't do that.
Right.
Keep your job.
Keep your job, everyone.
Keep your jobs.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And I'll tell you why.
Unless you don't like your job and you want to move to a new job, that's on you. But for the most part, Billy's right. Keep your job.
But not. I'm saying don't make your working decision based on our weekly daily fantasy contest.
Right.
Presented by Smirnoff.
Yeah.
Sure.
The world's #1 vodka.
Yes.
Please drink responsibly.
But keep your job.
Keep your job.
Unless you're Skyler Thompson.
If you're Billy Gill, you keep your job, and I'll tell you why. Because last week, again, as I mentioned, I finished 5th place. This week, I finished 605th place. So only 600 spots lower than last week.
Listen, that's the life of daily fantasy. I mean,
is.
1 week you're great. The next week you're 631st. I mean,
But here's the good news. 605th. Here's the good news. I would not stoop to 600.
Is that a fine?
That's crazy.
I finished in 31st place this week.
Congratulations.
I didn't win any money, though. I mean,
you know what? Here's the good thing,
I had a team. I had Caleb. I had Derrick Henry. I mean, I had a team.
Guys,
I had Goddard. I mean,
It's a blessing and it's a curse. Because as I was flying high last week, slate clean every single week. This week, 605th. Guess what? Next week, clean slate again. I could finish 1st place next week.
Wow.
The 605th doesn't impact my 1st at all.
Huh.
We're in a lot of leagues. You drop 600 spots, your season's probably done. Not this one.
Right.
Not this one presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. Not this one.
So you were a winner last week, a loser this week.
Ooh.
Winners and losers.
Wow.
Wow. That was a transition.
How about that?
Wow.
Hey,
Thank you, Fuentes.
winners and losers presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly. I have 2 winners and 1 loser this week. I don't know if you guys have winners and losers that you want to share. 2 winners, 1 loser this week.
2 winners, 1 loser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you want to start with?
I want to start with your one of your winners.
One of my winners.
Not both, just one. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the obvious winner.
Okay.
The obvious winner this week, the Red Rifle,
Yes.
Andy Dalton,
Yes.
who many of us forgot.
Not me.
I mean, how can you forget Andy Dalton? I guess, but many people weren't thinking. You know what, Andy Dalton, he's still got it.
Yep.
Andy Dalton, 26 of 37, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's the only quarterback this season with 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns in a game.
Yep.
Andy Dalton, the only one.
Amazing.
Big
was there,
winner this
was
week.
there the entire time for Carolina. Yep.
Yeah, some could argue big loser this week, Bryce Young, because Andy Dalton proved that maybe the Panthers weren't the problem.
Although what helped Bryce Young a little bit was C.J. Stroud was not very good and hasn't been very good.
We got to keep an eye on him.
Bust?
Whoa. I don't know about that.
I asked a question. I didn't say it was not a definitive statement. I just asked a question.
Here's the thing to keep an eye on C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping an eye on, and maybe you pay attention to. So they didn't really make a ton of offensive upgrades this year. They got him Stephon Diggs, but that was pretty much it. They focused on the defense to get the Texans.
They got him Joe Mixon. Yeah.
But
Who was hurt.
What my point is they didn't put a lot into the offense because they thought, you know what, he'll be fine. He'll make another step. Here's something that you should watch on him is last year his turnover rate in terms of touchdowns and interceptions was crazy. He did not throw interceptions. I think he set like a record on how long it was into his career before he threw an interception. So like he did not turn the ball over. Yesterday, 2 interceptions. Like keep an eye on him because if he's turning the ball over,
bad.
They're gonna regress.
This is like what I feel. I used to call this like the Alex Rodriguez thing, where he had a few years where he was so good that when he had a okay year, now it's so bad. Like Stroud was so good in the beginning, he can only really come down.
Yeah,
and that's like not great for him analyst wise.
But he had 5 interceptions last year, and Billy's saying he had 2 yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. But that's incredible for a rookie to only have 5 interceptions.
Yes.
So now it's like he's so high, he can only come down.
He's regressing to the mean. He was high on our list of sophomore slump watch list this year.
He was high.
He was high on the list.
Near the top. Yep.
There's still time to turn around. Anyways, you want another winner?
I have one winner before we move on.
Oh, okay.
Wait, but Billy has another winner.
Yeah, my winner is attached to his first winner.
Is it?
Dave Canales.
Okay.
Looks like a genius.
He does. Well, no, does he?
Yeah, because he moved off Bryce Young because he didn't draft him, right? So he moved off Bryce Young.
But Dalton was there to start the season.
Yeah, but he's like, I don't want to be attached to this guy.
Right.
Moved on, brought in the veteran, big win. I have a loser that's also
offense looks good.
Offense.
I got a loser.
One at a time. Hold on.
We got to finish
one at a
Billy's
time.
winners.
No.
I want Fuentes' loser. I want Mikey A's loser, and then I want Billy's loser. Fuentes first.
Billy still has a winner though.
Okay, go. Loser.
Okay, well, my loser, Antonio Pierce. You got to fire him. It's over. It's terrible. How can you lose that game? And like that at home? Terrible.
I got it. It's good. Okay.
I'll tell you how you lose that game.
Yeah.
My loser, some members of the Las Vegas Raiders. After the game, Antonio Brown said, as the game went on, there were some individuals that made business decisions, so we'll make business decisions as well.
Wow.
I don't know who he's pointing at, but I'm looking at Devontae Adams.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. You want him on the Jets. Winner,
Yes.
Billy. Billy has another winner.
Winner.
Yes.
The fans at the 49ers-Rams game.
Really?
It was a good game.
Great game, yes.
It was a good game. I was going to pick an individual player, but I didn't want to because I had 2 winning players from this game. So I determined because there were 2 winning players for winners and losers, the fans were the winners of that game.
Wow.
Fans get it.
The winning players, Kyron Williams,
Yep.
3 total touchdowns.
Great.
And Juwan Jennings,
Yes.
3 total touchdowns.
He was great.
Both of them had great games.
Yep.
Therefore, I deemed the fans were the winners of that game.
Okay. I have one winner.
Also, 49ers fans were the big winners because they went to the Rams Stadium.
Yeah.
And they had another extra home game this season.
Yeah.
I don't know why
They
there's
lost,
I don't
though.
know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They got an extra home game out of this.
Right.
I don't know why the NFL decided that football is going to work in LA and they're going to get this great LA fan base. And they gave them 2 teams.
It's all
Right.
transplants. Yeah.
And neither team ever has a home field advantage.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I have a winner.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bo Nix.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Tampa Bay was 2-0. Everyone was praising Baker Mayfield. Bo Nix was 0-2. The Broncos weren't very good. Bo Nix had the best game of any rookie quarterback this season.
We know nothing.
We know nothing.
We know nothing.
We know absolutely nothing. Yes. No, nothing.
You want a loser? I have a loser.
Who?
Justin Tucker.
Oh, he's a loser.
Yeah, Justin Tucker.
I mean,
missed a 46-yard attempt.
terrible,
This is
that
his
guy.
third straight week with a missed field goal. He used to be Mr. Automatic. Everyone said he's the greatest kicker of all time, and now
loser.
seems like Father Time's catching up to him. Maybe.
Does it really?
It might
Old
be.
Father Time is undefeated,
Undefeated,
Billy.
yeah.
That's it? You're
You know
done?
who else is undefeated?
Who?
Sam Darnold.
Winner.
Yeah, winner.
Big winner. No one's winning bigger. Well, Geno Smith. God, I hate the Jets. Before we get to his picks, I do want to speak about last night's game. The Chiefs played the Falcons. Primetime Kirk showed up. It was a brutal game that the Falcons should have won. I'm not certain what coaches are doing. They have forgotten the value of a field goal. Let me remind you, it's 3 points. That's what you get. It's better than nothing, okay? The Kansas City Chiefs are 3-0. I believe Travis Kelce, through 3 games, their biggest offensive weapon, besides Patrick Mahomes, of course, has 8 catches for 68 yards for the season.
Well,
For the season. And the only reason people are criticizing Travis Kelce for whatever it is he did in the offseason is because the Chiefs are 3-0. That's the only reason. Now, Travis might turn it around. He might, might turn out that he has a great season. But the Chiefs, the MVP of that team, the last 2 years and change, I guess, has been Spags. I have been saying it forever. Steve Spagnuolo has that defense playing at a ridiculous level, and they made a big stop last night late in that game.
The Travis Kelce thing is misleading, right? Because last week he had like a 40-yard reception that was called back because of a penalty. So,
Sure.
he's had plays that have come back. At the end of the day, I guess, not to say the end of the day, but at the end of the day,
Sure.
the stats don't look great, but I'm not too concerned about him. Are you concerned?
Did the Falcons get hosed?
No, Billy, I'm making the point that the Chiefs are 3-0, even though Travis Kelce hasn't really played well. They're 3-0. It doesn't matter if Kelsey's there, if Tyreek Hill is there. Doesn't matter. As long as number 15 is there and that defense and Spags dialing up blitzes, that team is fine. Seriously.
Chiefs got away with a pass interference in the end zone.
Something's a little off
that's
there.
my question.
Yeah.
You got away with one.
It was a bad one too. It wasn't even like, it was a little ticky. No, that was obvious. He was tackling him.
So we have a pair of Monday Night Football games tonight. Billy has his bets ready, or at least one of his bets ready.
Yep.
As a Jet fan, Mike, we get to sit back and root for Jacksonville to pull off the upset against Buffalo. And then you have Washington, Jaden Daniels in the late game. So, Billy, what are the picks coming up here?
My first one is actually going to be from the late game, and it is going to be friend of the show, Austin Eckler, over 19.5 receiving yards.
Like it.
Seems low. There's been games this season where Austin Eckler has been the leading receiver for the Commanders. So 19.5 seems like an easy bet for Austin Eckler. Over 19.5 receiving yards for Austin Eckler.
All right, I like that. Billy is currently erasing the board, and
Yeah.
he's going to start the process. You think it would be a bigger board.
Why's that?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
You want me to put all of them on there at the same time? Then, what's the
What we
where's the
should do
drama
is
there?
get multiple
Do the big
boards,
reveal, yeah.
prep the boards, so
Yeah.
that way he doesn't have to write them.
It's
this is a huge waste of
Glad
time.
we're talking it out in show.
Yeah,
Well, here's the thing: is I
Building an
have
airplane in the
a
air,
second board. I have a second board here. It's just I'm just using the one though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could have done that.
I'm gonna get you a third board though,
Right.
so that way you don't have to do
Well,
it.
then what's going to happen is I'm just going to have 2 blank boards on the floor. Next one, Josh Allen, anytime TD.
Like it. Yep. Good chance of that happening.
Anytime Josh Allen is playing on a Thursday or a Monday when we're recording a show, I am going to bet an anytime TD. I was thinking of changing
Not
it up.
Sundays, though?
Well, we don't typically do Sunday shows.
Okay, you're right.
So whenever my point is, whenever I have a BBBBBB here and Josh Allen is an option for an anytime TD, I'm gonna take it.
Yep.
Until he proves me wrong.
Okay.
And even then, I'll probably take it the next week because I'll say like, mulligan on that one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
You didn't have one on Thursday.
Hold on, he has a thing.
I wanted to change things up, and I wanted to say Josh over 1.5 touchdowns, but the Jaguars don't give up a lot of points, and they don't give up a lot of passing touchdowns.
You're right.
Week 1, they only gave up 1 to the Dolphins, and it was an 80-yard Tyreek Hill touchdown that, was Tyreek Hill just making a play. So I don't know that the Jags are going to give up 2 passing touchdowns. So I'm going with the safer bet, in my opinion, which is a Josh Allen anytime touchdown.
Okay, so that's
any
thing.
quarterback would do good with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Any quarterback.
Yeah.
Of course.
That one play was Tyreek Hill's entire season highlight reel so far.
All right, and my last one.
Dolphin fans bailing. Go ahead, Billy.
Bills minus 5.5 tonight against the Jaguars. Yeah.
All right.
I think that the reports that something was off in Buffalo and they were a lesser team this year were premature. The Bills seem as good as ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope they're not that good tonight. I agree with you. I need them to lose tonight. I do.
Lose?
It would feel good.
Yeah. I mean, then the Jets are tied for first place.
Trevor Lawrence to beat them. Good luck with that.
Nice, thanks.
How come you didn't pick Trevor for an anytime touchdown?
Because he's Trevor Lawrence.
Thank you. Mike gets it.
Does he?
God bless football.
God bless football, everyone.